If you enjoy these videos, please on my mama hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks. Now back to the video. Doctors of Reddit, what is the weirdest thing a patient wouldn't admit? Had a patient refuse to admit he swallowed a pen, even though an x-ray showed a pen in his small bowel and we took the pen out during an emergency surgery. That's not mine. I'm holding it for a friend. Not a doctor but a nurse. Had a patient come in with a toothpick in his penis. Refused to tell me how it got in there, insisting he was picking his teeth and it fell in. Being pregnant and also a virgin. People actually believe women can get inseminated in a public pool or after their parents had sex in the jacuzzi and the girl uses the jacuzzi and is inseminated by the father. I was once marked as pregnant by mistake when I went into the air. They were talking about the tests that needed to run, but they couldn't give me medication because of the baby. At that point I said, hold up, there is no way I'm pregnant. The nurse looked at me and rolled her eyes. I told her that I've only ever slept with women in the last couple of years, so there was no way I was pregnant. One of the other nurses reran the pregnancy test, and turns out I wasn't pregnant. I admitted a guy for chest pain. As part of the workup, I did a urine drug screen which came back positive for cocaine. After the rest of his cardiac workup was negative, I said to him, good news, you didn't have a heart attack. It's likely that your chest pain was caused by cocaine. His answer, I didn't use cocaine. See, I was at a party and people had some lines of cocaine out on a table. As I was walking by, an oscillating fan blew the cocaine into my face, which is why my urine was positive. Memhem. Got it. Nurse here. Had parents bring their 3-year-old son to the emergency department for 1 month of abdominal pain that kept getting worse. I ask all the routine questions for this complaint. Lots of questions about his poop. Is it bloody? Diarrhea? Mucus? When was his last bowel movement? Any changes in the stool? They deny any other concerning symptoms but abdominal pain. We do blood work, ultrasound, x-ray. Everything comes back completely normal but the kid is intermittently screaming in pain, curled in a ball. Over the next 5 hours I continue to repeat the same questions. I asked repeatedly if there was anything else going on that they could think of. Nope. The kid just doesn't seem well but we have no reason to keep him. We decide to watch him a little longer, let him eat. The kid eats a bunch. A PBJ, apple juice, crackers, popsicle. No pain so we decide to send them home. I bring in the discharge paperwork and I'm about to start going over instructions and the dad goes, you know, for the past 3 months he's had a lot of worms in his poop. Worms ducking worms. You spent 6+ hours denying worms. I literally just turned around and walked out of the room without saying a word. I was laughing almost to the point of tears. Could not wait to tell my resident. Deworming medications. A shitload of wasted time. And they were on their way. It's well known in the ER that a patient with something stuck up his her etc but has no idea how it got there. Or they fell on it. The weirdest thing I saw was a patient who came into the ED with a shampoo bottle up his butt. So, what brings you into the emergency room tonight? I shoved a shampoo bottle up my butt. Now it's stuck there. Left double quotation mark. No shame. I mean, you kinda gotta respect that level of honesty. I'm a pediatric dentist, so maybe not the type of doctor you were looking for, but this one throws me for a loop every time so I'll share it. When I sedate kids they have to be NPO for 8 hours before, so I always ask if they had anything to eat or drink in the morning. Parents never want to admit their kid ate or drank, even when I remind them it's very important because if they vomit and aspirate they could die. Often they try to minimize it and say it was just a few bites, but one kid walked in eating a bag of Cheetos at reception and then the parent insisted to me that they hadn't eaten. Yeah, I'm 100% not sedating your child today. How stupid can parents be? Don't they understand the risks? We have multiple outbreaks of treatable viruses that have been curable manageable for 40 years thanks to the scientific breakthroughs with vaccines. And you're asking if they understand anything? Not a doctor but worked in a hospital for a long time. Had a PT come in that had OD on heroin. Was able to get him set on that front. However he had necrotizing fasciitis in his pectoral from injecting there. He was septic and honestly a bit of an asshole. He kept trying to tell us the reason he was there was because of a motorcycle accident. We all knew but he was in absolute denial. He eventually heals up and transfers out after a couple months. He came back about 6 months later to say thank you to all of us and to apologize for all the lies and sholish behavior. Seems it was enough to get him out of that life and onto a new one. I think about him now and then and hope he stayed clean. Nurse here had a patient accuse me of shitting in her bed and threatened to sue me for malpractice. Keynote, she never got out of her bed. Nursing assistant here. I've been accused of shitting in the corner of a patient's room. She did it and then tried to blame some really nondescript man as the culprit after realizing no one believed it was me. I've also been accused of killing babies and burying them in the hospital basement. Obligatory, not a doctor. I'm a nurse. We had a patient come into the operating room for brain surgery. Probably a mid-50s guy with a nice head of light brown hair. Before a patient comes into the actual OR, we ask them a series of questions, including whether they have any implants, jewelry, non-hospital clothes on, etc. Guy says no to all the questions. After the patient gets put to sleep, the surgeon grabbed his hair to start shaving it off, because you know, brain surgery, and all his hair peeled off because he was wearing a wig and didn't tell us. We almost shaved his hairpiece because he wouldn't admit to anyone he wore it.